We are already 1/3 of the way through this season, but it doesn't mean the action is going to be slowing down anytime soon. Welcome everyone to the ProPokeBowl Season 5 Week number 4. My name is ProPokeBowl, but thank you very much for joining me. We have a lot of exciting matches for you tonight as coaches are continuing to climb for the top 6 to make their way into the playoffs to try and become a ProPokeBowl champion. Some of them, a 2-time. Thank you very much for joining me. It has been a very action-packed week. We got trades to talk about, we got news to talk about, and let's just get right into it. Let's start with what the scores look like thus far after 3 weeks of battles and a bunch of points being thrown around everywhere. You will see at the very top the Fortnite Ninjas holding first place at the moment with the Manchester Manectric sitting there and potentially taking over just for one single week, just for 1 week. Could hold it here. I Am Groot sitting in 3rd place at 11 points. Traverse City Thunder is still in that 4th seed. Lucas is 5th. Todd Skyrim Howard, Las Vegas Golden Lucario's Ice Cold, and Golden State Greninjas all climbing to that 6th seed, trying their best to hold in. And we're going to see who can pull those points out today, try and take a bit of an advantage. The matches you're looking at today are, oh, I lost them. Golden State Greninjas versus the Las Vegas Golden Lucarios, followed by our featured match of the week. Todd Skyrim Howard versus Manchester Manectric, the battle of the upcoming versus the prior upcoming person in this tournament, and then ending off the day with the Lunar Cresselis up against the Traverse City Thunderous. Now before we get into, why do I have alerts on this thing? I have alerts on this page? Why? Now ladies and gentlemen, before we get into anything, I would like to make a quick announcement here. Let's change gears really quickly. What am I changing gears to? I don't know. Change to... Yeah, this is good enough for the announcement I'm going to be making. You may have seen on the challenge that there was another crossed out team. We have officially disqualified the Sarasota Suicunes for attempting to spread private information of another player's team to their opponent. They have been allowed to stay on the channel. They've also been allowed to come back in future ProPokeballs, but they will have forfeited every one of their other matches for the rest of Season 5. We're in Season 5, right? Season 5. All of their Pokemon are thrown back into the trade pool and will be available after this week, so trades can officially begin. They've been added in. Adds a lot of interesting choices to the OU pool and the UU pool with all their Pokemon going back into it. So, interesting to see what's going to happen as a result of this. Sorry that it had to happen that way, but nonetheless, we do enforce the rules very strictly here and make sure that everybody is having a fun and healthy competitive attitude when it comes towards anything that we do on this channel. So everything is good, but we are going to move on nonetheless. That's why you might see we're having a lot less battles. If you guys would like to take a look at what the tourney order is, make sure you do exclamation tourney in the chat as well as exclamation featured if you want to be reminded of when that featured matchup is going to be coming up. But it will be the second match nonetheless. Also a reminder for all of you, just because we're going to be trying to get into the swing of things here, at the end of every ProPokeBowl day, any hosts, any subs, I will be shouting them all out at the very end. And thank you to everybody who does support the content. We're doing well. Lots of faces being embraces. Except I don't wear braces, so that doesn't work out very well. Nonetheless, let's get into our first matchup of the day, which is going to be the Las Vegas Golden Lucarios up against Golden State Greninjas. Don't know where they are right now. Currently looking for them. It doesn't mean we can't get into the analysis. That's not the teams. The teams are over here. There we go. And I have to move over one more. Boop. There we go. Let me do a quick check here on where World Leader is. He is here, and hopefully he will be ready. He still has to submit his stuff for me. Oh, never mind. We have all 6 responses. Awesome. So we'll get that loaded up in just a second here. But let's talk this matchup. Golden State Greninjas coming off what happens to be their 2 best weeks out of the 3, but 2 best weeks overall in their entire performance of the ProPokeBowl, of their entire ProPokeBowl history, showing great effectiveness with being able to use their defensive core and finding that offensive Pokemon that makes it work. We thought it would be a hyper-aggressive sweeper into the likes of using this really big, beefy team that carries so much flexibility and so much targeting that it does give World Leader giant advantages in his matches, and it's awesome to see that, considering we know that he could do well. He is doing really well, and considering that his entire team is open this week, very curious to see what he's got planned for us, considering that the opponents, the Las Vegas Golden Lucario's, did not ban anything on time. So, what does this imply? Well, the Mega Aerodactyl is on the table. It doesn't do as well. It does a lot nonetheless, but we'll have to see what he's going to be pairing it up with. I'm pretty sure he'll still be bringing that same defensive core we saw with the Empoleon and the Venusaur. The Double Mega can also make some interesting situations here for us, considering he did bring Double Mega the last time we saw both of them on the same team. For the side of the Las Vegas Golden Lucarios, not getting the results they necessarily want to get. They did take that one game off of Ice Cold early on in the season, but still trying to find their strides here, try and grab more points. I do have a sneaky suspicion that with the... I got this, hold on. You're not looking at the screen right now. With the Scizor band, the Mega Lopunny we actually pinned on the ProPoke podcast is still being a very potent Pokemon. I think there actually is a couple of Pokemon here, the Kofagrigus and the Lopunny, which could do a lot of work. We'll have to see what they brought in the first matches of this week, considering that there is a potential here. I think that this is going to be one of the teams that Koma has a good chance to break through. The only scary thing is whether or not the defensive core does, on the side of the Golden State Greninjas, does too much to stop Koma in his tracks. However, I do feel like with the coverage that you can find on a Mega Lopunny, it can do quite a bit. Gliscor would be the one that's in the way, but if you carry the likes of the Tapu Fini, you're golden. We're not going to see Poison Fang on Gliscor if it even gets Poison Fang. But I think this is going to be an even matchup for both of them, as depending on what's going to be playing out. I don't necessarily see any type of blowout per se. If anything, I would give it to Las Vegas, considering that their offensive sweeper will be doing quite as much as Mega Aerodactyl. And if Mega Aerodactyl or whatever offensive Pokemon's brought is taken down, I do think that Koma is in a good position here to take down World Leader. But we'll have to see based on the decisions that are made, as well as anything else we can go with it. So... yeah, 30 minutes from when I loaded up, Koma. It's okay, you guys got 2 minutes to get in a match. Just get into the battle. I'm going to set everything else up here. If you guys want to catch up on all the ProPoke podcast action, it is currently only on YouTube. It will be put on other platforms eventually. Thank you for all of you who have been listening and supporting that particular new thing we've been doing on the channel. I'm absolutely loving podcasting, especially with Amagama. He has a lot more podcasting experience than you'd actually imagine, and him and I are synergizing very well, so thank you to all of you who do support that show. I hope that the ProPoke podcast can grow. Haas is updating. Nice. But I hope that podcast can grow into other topics, or we just keep doing more talks here and there and go from there. So yeah, the Show Me Your Moveset's a bit of a tragedy, but you know, it wouldn't be my show if it didn't have tragedies in it. Okay, so what do we want to see here? Basically, I think really it comes down to Las Vegas just going back to standard play, not worrying too much about what's going to be happening in terms of the movesets. I do expect the movesets to be a little bit more normal this time around. I think the good thing about what happened in the match there with the Fortnite Ninjas, it really showed Koma that every Pokemon can be viable if built just even standard. If it's not used, it can still be used, and you might not think of it right away, but there still is that potential to find all that happening for you. So let's see what Koma's going to do, as they have actually gotten into it. They have gotten into the match. Let's just get everything loaded up for you here. And we're going to start this off. Now, I must warn you, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't been looking at all of my social media stuff, I've been really obsessed with Pokemon Masters, so we're getting Pokemon Masters music immediately in the ProPokeBowl. I'm just letting you know right now. If you don't think these battles, if these music slaps, you're in for a big surprise. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the first series of the night between the Las Vegas Golden Lucarios on the close side and the Golden State Greninjas on the far side. Let's take a look at the team. We see that super defensive team on the side of the Golden State Greninjas with that Mega Aerodactyl showing up to the party. And on the side of the Las Vegas Golden Lucarios, Fini, Lopunny are all present. We're looking to see all the Pokemon we want to see from these players, and it now comes down to this. Can Koma start taking points, start taking places in the ProPokeBowl to try and reach that top 6, or Golden State Greninjas continue that surge upwards? Mega Aerodactyl most likely leading off against that Klefki. Now, Klefki can go for the Thunder Wave to try and throw us off. Might even go for the Reflect, try and tank some damage up first so it doesn't have to trade as badly. Would mean it'd be 2 super effective hits that are halved versus 1 super effective hit that's not halved, and the other one is. This is going to be super interesting to me because the Mega Aerodactyl doesn't necessarily want to stay here and get paralyzed. If this thing gets paralyzed, there are no healers with Heal Bell or Aromatherapy on the team for the Golden State Greninjas, unless we see... does Aromatherapy exist on the Greninjas for Venusaur? I don't recall, but you don't see it extremely often at all. So gotta be careful with this. Can't take the risk. But the nice thing is, with Coma leading off with this, he threatens hazards, he threatens predictions. Even if as long as it's not Gliscor coming in, which it is going to be exactly, you can't fault him per se. That Foresight would have been better just to throw layer spikes, but nonetheless, you might as well make the play. Not losing too much here. We'll actually take the knockoff, which will get rid of the leftover. So we weren't looking at any screens like Clay shenanigans. But nonetheless, if he starts stacking them now, it's going to check for the defog. Most likely on the Empoleon, but the damage on the Empoleon would be nice. However, that is a lot of damage coming in from that Gliscor's Earthquake. Excellent. Thank you very much for that subscription, man. I'll have to talk to you later. We're going to go through all of that later, man. Thank you very much. But that's going to be a 2-hit KO here from the Gliscor with that Earthquake. So, Las Vegas probably want to spare this, actually. It's still worth it, in my opinion, to sack off the Klefki to handle that Mega Aerodactyl. As long as you have that debilitating presence with Prankster's Thunder Wave and it doesn't miss, because there's a 10% chance now in Gen 7, in case you didn't know that. Oh, there goes my mouse. Nonetheless, oh god, what happened? It's all dark, ladies and gentlemen. We've lost the match, but not to worry, because I am a hero, and I'm going to find it. Where'd it go? Oh god. Oh, hey, look, there's a battle going on. There's going to be a lot of battles and Pokemon beating each other up as we're going to be making our way back into the match. Oh, Lord. Everything's fine, right? Everything's going to be fine. I don't know what happened. Uh-oh. We're still hyped. Yeah, here we go. We're in. Boop. Look at that. We're still good. Nonetheless, the Tentacruel is going to come in as what did we see come out from Gliscor? We actually see the Toxic come through with World Leader making that prediction. So not a half bad prediction. Risky, actually, from the side of the Las Vegas Golden Lucario's, but it does mean he will outspeed with this Tentacruel at stock unless we see speed investment on that Gliscor. And Scald, not the most comfortable thing. But then again, Earthquake, very worth it if you want to do it on this Tentacruel. So it'll come down to who's going to play the game of chicken and how much you're actually going to lose from it. I still think the Las Vegas Golden Lucario's lose more, but Greninjas don't have to lose anything at all as they switch into the Venusaur. The burn does happen, which will nullify the leftovers, but we do see leftovers, so that means that we are only looking at a Mega Aerodactyl for this series. No double Mega Shenanigans. So this is going to be interesting. So this signals to me we have seen Earthquake on this Venusaur before. So if it's going to be that 3-attack Venusaur again coming through, the Sludge Wave not going to do much as this. What? Substitute? Okay. That is a moveset. How curious. So is this thing going to try and set up? It does have Substitute Synthesis. So perhaps this is more of a stalling Pokemon. Now the problem is, if he's sub-Leech Seed, he has to be careful if Liquid Ooze is being run on the Tentacruel, because that will end things for him. Energy Ball comes out. What the hell am I? Wow, okay. So Energy Ball still makes sense, because again, like I said, Liquid Ooze, you don't want to be Giga Draining the Tentacruel, and anything else is just going to get hit with a super strong Grass attack. But I'm curious, because Venusaur can't really set up and abuse any more damage coming out of that. The only thing he can hope for is a special defense drop from the Energy Ball's proc. If he was going for Earthquake, I'd understand this, but he must be, unless he's just literally 3 Grass attacks and the Substitute holding Leech Seed so that he doesn't use it on Liquid Ooze here. But I'm curious to see if he's just bringing this in for the purposes of just absorbing all the hits from Tentacruel, considering that Tentacruel is healing up right now with its Black Sludge. I mean, it's a stalemate, and I guess in the end, it just kind of stalls out all the moves, but World Leader doesn't want any more of those Scalds or Sludge Waves flying off, so he can absorb power points here. But that's going to be it. We'll have to see now. But yeah, I mean, seeing that, this isn't really a threat. Even if the Leech Seed came out or the Energy Ball, there's a lot of free switches here. Snorlax might be able to start setting up. It would be able to tank up the hit if it is that rest or that recycle set that we saw Coma bring out before. But the Substitute's going to come out. I'm really curious if he's just that stalling thing with Leech Seed, because this won't get him much. If anything, that's more damage than you want to be taking. It's really just wasting time by going for Synthesis. The more Synthesis you use, the less time you could stall out later on as this match. just trying to get... I don't know what they're both doing here. I mean, honestly, Koma's sitting pretty. He can kind of break this sub because Venusaur is going to be forced into a Synthesis and then try and get that free switch into Meloetta with the Psychic Attack. Could even go into the likes of the Lopunny because we were looking at Mega Lopunny to go for that return on this Venusaur. And based on the damage, it could be a lot at this point, especially since he didn't go for Synthesis. So you might be able to force a free setup here on the side of the Las Vegas Golden Lucarios. Flygon is going to make its way in. Dangerous as you don't want to get the 10% poison, but more dangerous if you just see a random Scald fly out. I mean, Sludge Wave does make sense, but Flygon comes in, threatens with Earthquake, so Tentacruel does have to get out of here. And I think Koma lost that opportunity to make those switches to gain advantages. But that's something for people to note in the future. Ooh, Dragon Dance. Now, this is going to be dangerous. Doesn't get burned. But he could be doing this because he is DD Lum, and he will get that +1 Earthquake on the Tentacruel, and that will be the first death. 15 turns in. The damage was okay, but I think he was expecting a burn with that Lumberry, if he is indeed carrying Lumberry. We don't see Life Orb recoil, so one can only assume DD Lum is the Flygon's choice today. Now, it's not completely lost. Feeny can come in and easily threaten with both Scald and, more importantly, Moonblast. Snorlax is going to be bulky enough to threaten with anything it has. It will be the Feeny coming in. There's still a couple of options to handle this and scare this thing out before it does any more sweeping at the very least. Now, what is the player? Again, Golden State Greninjas feels super safe. They could go into Empoleon now and go for the Defog to get rid of all these stacks of spikes if they wanted to, considering there's not going to be that much threat, really. Like, Feeny hurts, yes, it's bulky, yes, annoying with all the damage it can do, but, you know, Empoleon shrugs it completely off. Empoleon is that Feeny greeter at the door that you don't want to see because, yeah, Feeny's gonna, you know, Empoleon's gonna pat you down with his big penguin hands and go, you're not coming through. So, I do expect the Golden State Greninjas to make that play, but that also means, do we have to worry about Carmine Tapu Fini? He is going to go for the U-turn. He is going to probably switch into that Empoleon. But if it is Carmine Fini, you do have to be careful because Flash Cannon won't do the same that it did to Alolan Ninetales a couple of weeks ago. DD U-turn isn't the most awkward. I mean, it's more common on something like Scizor, but who knows. The Venusaur making its way as the Ice Beam flies out! Oh, that is not a check you want to see World Leader make, and that's a good note for Game 2. Yes, it would have maybe absorbed that Moonblast or the Scald, but the coverage on the Koma's side is going to take him down. But that does mean if we know the 3 offensive moves that could be potentially only run on this Feeny, Empoleon's feeling even more comfy considering that it's not looking at Protect if it is indeed the Defog that I expect on Feeny. It'd be, oh my goodness. Get out of here. I got it. There we go. I do expect Scald, Moonblast, Ice Beam, and then Defog or something else, or the Protect, which does mean that there is a piece missing in exchange for coverage. However, in this particular match, the coverage is going to work as it does end up getting a kill on one of the defensive pokes, and we've seen this before. Once a defensive core starts falling in this particular season of the Pro Pokeball, stuff hits the ceiling and stuff like that. I don't know. Who are you? Stop that. Stone Edge is going to come through. Oh, no, we don't actually see him go for it. If that Stone Edge is not doing enough, it needs to get a crit, but he is setting up in Mega Aerodactyl's face. This is so risky from both the players right now. Their setup timings are at times you don't expect it, but what's even riskier is this thing came in and tried to go for Stone Edge not knowing he could kill it. The Skydrop actually comes out, but now he knows that he can just go for the Scald and basically hit this Aerodactyl with +1. Skydrop's going to do less than Stone Edge, so this might just be a dead Mega Aerodactyl. And suddenly, the battle for the Golden State Greninja's not looking too great. If you're going to lose this giant offensive Pokemon already, and then you're going to go down one of your defensive cores. Ooh, doesn't die, but doesn't get burnt at the same time, which means Stone Edge will kill it off from this range. It's kind of lucky that Mega Aerodactyl has a tiny bit of bulk on it. Golden State Greninja's running down to 60 seconds on the game timer. But this is some timing. He does luckily get the Stone Edge hit, because it does mean Mega Aerodactyl stays up, and this is going to be as much stress as he can put down, as it's going to be faster than the rest of the team. It is going to be Mega Lopunny's time to have to dodge the Stone Edge or just take whatever hit's going to happen. The Fake Out comes through! Excellent choice here from the Las Vegas Golden Lucarios. And now the Mega War is won by Las Vegas. And you know, Megalopody's feeling pretty good. Once that Gliscor is taken down and that Infernape is checked for its item, this could be pretty good for Coma. Not your best choice, though, to try and hit against a defensive Marvel in the form of Gliscor. Gotta be careful to protect, gotta be careful of this thing using Roost. It's gonna be a little too difficult right now unless he's got Ice Punch on his Megalopony. It's not gonna be enough to take this out yet, but he is just gonna persevere, try and do something. The Roost is gonna come out here. Golden State Greninja is feeling super safe. There are still options for the Las Vegas Golden Lucarios if they choose to go into the Snorlax, try and set up a curse if they've got it, or go into even Meloetta and threaten on the special side. So, not necessarily over. Instead, he goes for the high jump kick, maybe expecting Empoleon to come in, but there's no reason for it considering Gliscor just stands in here, can even go for the Earthquake on this turn, and it is indeed exactly going to do just that. But Snorlax looking bulky, don't see leftovers, so we can expect that. No, he loses his Figgy Berry. Losing Figgy Berry is actually a big deal via knockoff. You cannot recycle a knocked off item. Toxic will come in as the Ice Punch comes through at +1, but as we told you before, Gliscor is a defensive Marvel, and now if he actually went for Roost, he would have been able to tank it more, so he could have sat in there, but he's just going to make another play, go into Empoleon, probably just go for Defog. Knowing that he can't recycle the Figgy Berry back, he can go for Defog, tank up all the hits, even +1 Earthquake at this point doesn't matter. He's just instead going to try and bring it lower so that Poison will try and take it out faster, but it's not going to be enough. That's a lot of good damage here. Done from Las Vegas Golden Lucarios. Both players right now kind of misreading how much damage can happen, as Flygon is going to come in with the Levitate to get the cheese kill with the Toxic on the Snorlax. 4-3. Golden State Greninja's looking to make up for what mistakes they made. Although not looking the worst, we do have Fake Out that's going to be flying out here from the Megalopony. You do have to question the play around the Gliscor, but nonetheless, we do see the answers. We just need to see the Pokemon at a different time for both these players, honestly. But here's the thing. If we take a look at that Empoleon, coming in on those Spikes plus Fake Out will most likely get that kill. So anything at this point coming in on the Fake Out's not going to like it. That's a lot of damage that has to be done to the Flygon. And that does mean that if Coma plays his switches well enough, he might be able to get a couple of Fake Out kills and finish with Megalopony. So he's feeling good right now. It's pretty good. He outspeeds. He is going to kill off the Flygon. He's just going to stay in. Gliscor needs to come in, but you know what? If that Infernape is not faster, let's see. 405, yeah, if that Infernape is not Scarfed, this could spell doom for the Golden State Greninjas. And then you have to ask, well, what happened to the defensive cores? Why did so many things take so much damage freely? The Mach Punch! That is indeed the Iron Fist Thunder Punch special coming out of World Leader, but it's Mach Punch instead to take it, and it will take down the Megalopony. As now it's up to Coma to use these last two Pokemon to get the cheese coming out with Klefki. And that's going to be a good start getting down, getting the damage down. Meloetta has to do by himself a double paralysis against the Lord of Thunder Punch himself. And this is not what you want to see if you are the Golden State Greninjas. You've lost your speed. Meloetta is set to sweep. This might be Coma's legitimate win against the Golden State Greninjas. And could this be the third paralysis? The Swords Dance instead comes out because he has to go for as much damage as possible. He does go through the paralysis and gets the +2 Mach Punch on it. Meloetta can come in. It can most likely take that +2. It's not going to be super effective. But what is it going to be? How fast is Meloetta? It's faster than everything. Takes a lot of damage. The Z move is going to come out. And he's actually going to go for this. But with that +1 defense, if he rolls the 60%, that's going to be 40% to kill him off. He gets the critical hit. And that's going to be the Golden State Greninjas cheesing out the win in the end for game number 1. And you gotta think the way Pokemon works is it works in 100%. So the +2 Mach Punch did 60% at stock, with Z Celebrate giving you +1 defense. It does 40%, so he's taking the risk they didn't need to take because he was faster, everything else could have killed everything off, and taking away 50% of 60 is actually only 40. If you think about it, it's not 30, it'll go to 40, because it's 1.5 times, right? It's not double defense. So it'd be about 40-45%, so would have gotten the kill most likely without. We'd have to do a damage calc. I don't think there's any need for a damage calc. But here's the thing. Where am I here? Oh my god, I don't know how to do this. I've forgotten how to ProPokeBowl. There we go. Okay, so a lot of information, a lot of important information to soak up from that particular match. Both players actually playing slightly reckless with their defensive course, which brought us kind of into that stalemate. And in the end, luckily for World Leader, knew that he had that priority in the end, but it became very scary when he got that double para against his Infernape, and Klefki was bringing it down to a point where Meloetta could sweep. Meloetta is, I believe, faster than both of them. It would have taken them both out. I want to do a quick check here if this was at +1 defense. Let's do a quick damage calc. Don't worry about the banging in the back. That's just my house exploding. Yeah, let's see. Mach Punch does 36 to 42% to Meloetta at +1 defense when it's got +2 attack. So, was still... It would have had to be the higher end of the roll. So, crit kind of mattered if he had rolled low. But... you have to ask, did you have to go for Z Celebrate? Maybe a little bit hyper-focused on making that set work. But nonetheless, Mega Lopunny's got good ins. World Leader's got good ins. So that means that game number 2 could still be anybody's game. Considering, you got to look at the use of that Venusaur. You got to look at the use of the Mega Lopunny at the same time. The Toxic should have never happened when that type of Pokemon should not be staying in on the likes of a physically defensive Pokemon. Known to be the physically defensive Pokemon of OU. So... if Coma makes an adjustment there, this entire Game 1 looks different if we don't see these Pokemon getting hurt in that way, right? If they're not taking free damage, if they're not just staying in on the wrong Pokemon, this gets much more complex, gets longer because it's going to be a lot of mind games. And honestly, if those switches were correct, that goes to Coma because there were 2 layers of spikes up that World Leader didn't get rid of, so he's constantly taking damage. Yeah, he's got 2 Pokemon unaffected by it, but when all those other Pokemon are taking it and bringing in damage range for the likes of High Jump Kick, Mega Lopunny could just clean up your Pokemon in one shot, or if you only have to rely on priority, you know it gets kind of scary. Now, I want to check the damage against Lopunny when it's Mega. Let's see here. For Mega Lopunny, yes. Now, if we bring this down to stock, how much does it do with just a Mach Punch? So, Mach Punch only does 57 to 68% to Mega Lopunny. But, the nice thing for World Leader to know is that Mega Lopunny... Actually, you know what? Mega Lopunny only has a 1% chance. He has 99 to 117% with High Jump Kick. So it gets a little dangerous if he doesn't get that +2 up. But if he gets that +2 up, Coma's team suffers. So if the Tapu Fini stays alive longer, Mega Lopunny gets the damage on the right Pokemon, I think actually Coma's got a slight advantage here, especially when we saw the Mega Aerodactyl didn't really get much done. And World Leader also tried to equally force damage against the physically defensive Pokemon. But lots of ballsy plays, lots of plays that you wouldn't expect at the particular time that it happened, so... greedy plays, but also just... you gotta question, man. You gotta think about what happened there and what does this mean for the future of the players, because we want to see them both clean up their plays. But if that's gonna happen, how do we make this... how do we actually analyze this when both players are making these super risky plays and at the same time wanting to keep their walls in on the wrong Pokemon, or like not recognizing the win conditions? Because both of them actually had a chance there, similar to Fortnite Ninjas, except more of a, like, World Leader could have won, but it wouldn't have been a huge win per se, because he'd have to do a couple of trading mid-game there, and then Coma finding that in kind of in the late mid-game where Fini was starting to set up. If we saw the attack come out right away, we saw the Sky Drop instead of just going for a double. Like, if you're going to go for it, he's trying to guarantee the damage. You don't have to crit with Stone Edge, but could get scary for both, especially now revealing that there is Mach Punch on that Infernape. That means we have to see if he's going to make those same plays, because that means he can go for 2 Stone Edges on the Fini and then go for Mach Punch to finish it off. Now he's not hiding that information. Okay, let's go quickly over to the battle here, because I'm gonna have to reset my scene. 1 second. Hell yeah. I gotta, hold on. It's not gonna change if I don't do this correctly. You can see chat. Say hi, chat. You're on candid camera. Okay, go back to here. No, come back to me. Come back to me. Now go back to the game. Once we get in. How you doing, Soda Dude? Good to see you, man. Good to see everybody there. Or am I? Okay. Here we go. Game number 2, Golden State Greninjas up 1-0. Will they be able to take the 3 points on the week, or will the Las Vegas Golden Lucarios take a look at their team and try and make something go a little different? However, when you mix it up like this, that's a lot different to think about, and that is going to be the Pelipper Ludicolo combo brought in, recognizing that double speed Ludicolo also puts a lot of pressure down on that Lopunny, but we know Lopunny's carrying Fake Out, so if he gets that chip damage down on any of those sweeping Pokemon, it will be a big deal. It will be the Klefki versus the Pelipper lead, and Pelipper most likely coming in for the Defog poke, so maybe we would see a different moveset on that Empoleon. Not too sure how this is going to actually play out, but we'll have to see. Okay, so what's the play this time? I think you still go for the Paralysis. We're not seeing any Toxic plays being made here unless the Tentacruel is carrying Toxic. We just haven't seen it yet because it stayed out on the Venusaur quite a bit. We haven't seen much come out of this either. It was Dazzling Gleam and Spikes and Thunder Wave from the Klefki. We don't know its last move yet. So if it is Toxic, this would be the Pokemon 2 Toxic to make sure this thing doesn't stay alive for very long. It usually carries the like of the Damp Rock, so let's see what kind of plays are going to be coming out of this. The Gliscor is going to come instantly to make sure the status doesn't happen, but this time, Koba says, I know this is going to happen. It's the exact same thing as last game, so I'm just going to get my spikes up early. This is a good play. It does force that Pelipper out a little bit earlier, might throw off the rain damage or make Pokemon take a tiny bit more damage here. He is going to favor taking that damage on the Klefki in favor of getting the spikes up. Now, the only problem with this is knowing that Pelipper is not going to suffer from that. Pelipper feels very safe here, considering Klefki doesn't actually do much back to Pelipper. Pelipper threatens with a Scald in the rain, and just threatens with the Defog and Zero, but he's just going to go for it. So he's going to say, hey, you're not setting in Pelipper, because I'm going to go into Snorlax and start setting up. But Pelipper is also a physically defensive wall, so it doesn't matter to him. And we saw Ice Punch on the Snorlax and Earthquake, and probably Recycle, so that really means that it's going to be safe. He actually makes the double into Lopunny. And that's an easy Toxic nonetheless for Gliscor, knowing that it's not an immunity Snorlax. Anything's getting Toxic that's not Tentacool, and then it doesn't want to risk taking that Earthquake. So Mega Lopunny will come in, does go for the Fake Out. Ooh, that's a lot of damage that you don't want. If this thing is carrying Life Orb, its sweeping days are numbered, but the Focus Blast comes out, he actually misses it! Super lucky from Coma, but it is going to pay off. And that is the Mega Aerodactyl substitute taken out of Game 2 so early on. And now you just have a Pelipper that has to use its own Hurricane if it's carrying its Stab, Scald plus Rain. But the use of the Rain is gone. Pelipper, it does come in now. It's most likely just going to go for the Defog, knowing it can tank up the hits. As Return will come through, so he takes it up perfectly fine. Oh, instead actually goes for the kill. That makes sense. What am I saying? Just get the Mega Lopunny out and you get rid of the threat. Now, Tapu Fini will come in. Pelipper doesn't want to stay in here when this thing is going to be going for Calm Mind. And if it goes for Defog, that does give Tapu Fini more time to set up Calm Minds. So I like this play from the Las Vegas Golden Lucarios. He's just going to go straight for it, as U-turn will happen, but I mean, you're not earning anything here, and the 3 layers of spikes is still up, so if you want to send in that Empoleon, it's taking 25%, actually, if it's using a moveset like that. Scald and Roost, so it might not actually have Defog. Empoleon might still be the Defogger. Considering he brought it Game 1, it probably is his Defogger, and he's just got switch priority on Pelipper instead. Because you don't want to drop Roost and Scald. It's kind of Pelipper's really good stuff. Or maybe he did. Oh, I don't freaking know. But Drampa will come in. It is in the sun, or in the rain, not anymore. We'll have to drop a Stock Thunder if it's going to go for it. But again, it's just going to get watched. Oh, never mind. He takes it. He actually hits the Stock Thunder. It does absolutely nothing. We've seen World Leader do this before. He's got to remember special defense raises make this really difficult for Drampa to do anything. Yes, it has an Assault Vest most likely because it lived the +1 Moonblast, but it's not doing anything. I mean, it's good for him that he hit it, but he didn't get the paralysis. He got nothing. He took 25% from the spikes. This is, you know, maybe Coma and, you know what, and the special attack drop. That's even something else to bring up, is there were double things going against him there. But even so, nonetheless, Tapu Fini, whether it's got this the +1 special defense or the minus special attack drop or anything like that, it's just going to be feeling safe here, just be spamming attacks. And now, like, it's gotta be Empoleon. I'm surprised that World Leader's not bringing Empoleon in. He must have absolutely nothing to force this thing out. Or does it have Toxic maybe to threaten this? Although, to be fair, with Misty Terrain up, you can't actually status anything. So maybe he's just biding his time to wait for that Misty Terrain to wear off so that then he can Toxic. He is just going to go for the second Combine, knowing he can take the hits, and the Thunder misses. That is not the move you want to see World Leader make if you voted for him on the fantasy draft, because that's still going to do even less damage. And this is the panic World Leader has. The moment he loses that offensive Pokemon, that's just it, right? We've seen him crumble many times with that. So now, Drampa's down. What's left? Empoleon comes in, tanks the hits up to +2. I'm pretty sure it could tank the hits for a little while. It's not going to be great to take all the hit, but... no, he could be running Sap Sipper Gamma. He could be running Sap Sipper. Or, no, sorry, wait, no, he's got Sap Sipper or Berserk. He doesn't have Cloud9. I don't know what you're talking about. Either way, Empoleon finally comes in. So now let's see how much damage. I mean, at this point, you're at +2. You just kind of go for it. Try and get the burn. Get some extra chip damage down. He doesn't. Scald's going to come in. You don't want to burn the Feeny, though, because he's got leftovers. You haven't knocked that off yet. But again, at this point, you put yourself in such a bad position. Ah, there it is. He should have gone for that first. Oh, wait, he can't because, what am I saying? He was a Misty Terrain. Actually, that's kind of smart. Go for the Scald because you know he can't burn. Now get the Toxic down. And now this is Koma's time to set up. He has to do it. But at the same time, Gold Sacred just need to get the damage down. Make sure that every percent of HP counts that's done on this. So he does get the Toxic down. Now you have to see Koma attack. But like we said, this thing... oh my god, it's got Rest. Get out of here, World Leader. It's a freaking Rest Empoleon. He's going to make that work, too. Is it Rest Talk? Are you serious? Don't tell me this is Rest Talk Empoleon. This is disgusting. Don't get the burn. Oh, he got the burn. That kind of sucks because this is Z Celebrate Meloetta. You like to get the Toxic down on that. And now he's going to go for it. Now, here's the thing, though. Dual Stab still tanked up by Empoleon. Gee, who would have thought Empoleon was a good Pokemon? Gotta get the damage down at the very least, and because there's the leftovers, he will be taking damage. At least that's okay. But Relic Song doing nothing, but actually... hold on, this is a Flexi. This is a Flexi Meloetta, so could be carrying Close Combat. Close Combat? I think it's Close Combat, yeah. But it is Burn, so it actually neuters this build of the Meloetta. Gliscor will come in now. Yeah, the Close Combat's going to do nothing. Never mind. Koma bringing the moveset that's not going to be able to do anything because he doesn't have the setup to make it work. I mean, it makes sense. But then the problem remains, even if he had to get the Relic Song up first, which means that, yeah, Empoleon just stays in, doesn't care about anything that it does. And that means that the Defog is maybe on his Pelipper? Or maybe he's just not bringing Defog, or maybe it's on his Gliscor. We don't even know. I don't even know anymore. He's got Roost, and I think have we seen U-Turn yet? I don't. This is so weird. Nonetheless, the knockoff is going to bring Meloetta down, where it is going to dance its last Tango. Tentacruel will come in. It can tank one hit and go for the Scald, although he goes for the knockoff instead. Interesting. I mean, Tentacruel's faster, so if you should have gone for the Earthquake, try and get all that damage down, but hey, maybe he predicted a double switch again that Koma's been doing a couple times when it's kind of pointless. But Pelipper will now have to come in. Rain Boost to Scald, still not going to do a heck of a lot. He's most likely just going to go for the likes of the Roost first, then go for the Defog, make sure this damage doesn't rack up too much. Funnily enough, I actually still like the Flygon a smidge. Oh, he's gonna just get taken out. That doesn't, never mind. He's just taken out. Yeah, because he's got Sludge Wave. So what was... I don't actually know what's going on in this match. Because I do expect, like... Empoleon's gotta be the hero, but it's Rest Talk Empoleon. Which, again, tanks up every... wow, Empoleon is so stupid with his typing. I mean, like, luckily for the side of the Gold Sacred Ninjas, it's not looking great. Because that Feeny is still in the back, but Feeny's Toxic. And on top of that, like, you've got your Snorlax, which still has to get rid of the likes of the Gliscor. I mean, he got the burn, but Rest comes through. He doesn't care, right? So, this particular build on Empoleon stops everything when Mega Lopunny is not around or when you don't have Curselax setting up. And the other thing about the Curselax is if that thing gets burned, there goes your Earthquake damage. He's going to have to risk it, though. I mean, he's got one turn where he might not actually roll the Scald. The Toxic drops instead, which, you know what? Yeah, you know, with the damage that needs to get done here, maybe it's not the worst thing because he's got the Ice Punch at the very least. But because it's in the rain, it's going to be a little more damage from that Scald. So World Leader's still feeling okay here because he knows he can just go into Gliscor probably right now. Or actually, he just goes for one more damage because he knows he can tank the +1 hit. Figgy Berry does get used as another Curse will come out. Okay, getting a little scary, but at this point, like, Las Vegas is just going to look to try and get damage down. So I would switch. Never mind. I'm not going to... You know what? World Leader's doing it right. He's going to tank the hit perfectly fine. He's going to go for his rest because he knows that he's not going to die. A crit would kill him off, but the Tentacle is now going to come in as the rest happens, but... This is just a slow... You know what? That knockoff is paying off now because Tentacruel can't heal up on when this Empoleon fails all of its stuff. He's trying his best, but he can't break this Penguin. It's the Emperor. It's got too much on it. Too much armor, too much honor. Not going down anytime soon. Even gets the Scald off for extra damage. I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. Gliscor, if it gets to heal up, can tank a hit and go for the Earthquake. But I mean, it really doesn't matter. If he gets it low enough, even Infernape finishes it off at this point with close combat. Or if it gets really low, Mach Punch. Snorlax is going to have to come in and just bite the bullet. It's just enough damage to get killed off with the Toxic. And it's looking bleak. Feeney's got to do something. Doesn't get rid of the Toxic status, unfortunately. Otherwise, Misty Terrain would be really good. Calm Mind happens, but what is going to happen for Coma? Because at this point, he's grasping at straws. He's got to do something. Moonblast is going to be his best option to try and get the freeze on the Empoleon. But really, Empoleon doesn't care. He's just going to keep going for damage. He knows he's got support in the back. And again, if he gets low enough, that Mach Punch flies through. Yeah, it's resisted, but... I mean, the likes of the Mach Punch plus that Toxic slowly racking up as you're watching it right now tick to 18%. It's not looking good for the Las Vegas Golden Lucarios, but Golden State Greninjas just bringing a Pokemon. This is not an offensive Pokemon that sweeps, ladies and gentlemen. It is a defensive Pokemon that walls. And he is going to stand nice and firm as that... Oh, he actually can't go for rest. Haha. It will be that Tentacruel against the King. And unfortunately, I don't think any of these guys are getting past the game of Sudoku. Finally gets the burn on the Penguin. But what is left for Las Vegas other than defeat? As Golden State Greninjas make their way over to the 2-0 for their week. And that's 2 weeks in a row of grabbing 3 points each. 3 weeks in a row of making good calls. And results might not show in points-wise for the Golden State Greninjas, but over time, the more that it pulls off, the more points he's grabbing, and going in top 6 is looking right up his alley really soon here, as he's just slowly burning the Squid Calamari for everybody. Las Vegas Golden Lucarios wasting the likes of their Sludge Waves, just wants the battle to end, but with Empoleon sleeping, it's kind of on his terms. But ladies and gentlemen, you see the Pokemon that you wanted to see, or you see the team that you want to see rise. We're seeing it. Golden State Greninjas go up 2-0 at the end of this week. GG. I like how Golden State Greninjas were doing us a favor and lengthening it out so that Ivan and Soto Dude can prepare more. That's totally what he was doing, right? 100%. I believe that. Not really. He's waiting for Marie. He's trying to stall for Marie. That's got to be it. If she's here yet. But where do we go from there, right? Like, what do we have at the end of the day? We have a wall that is very difficult for the likes of the oh my god. We have a wall that Las Vegas Golden Lucarios could have killed off, but just didn't get there in time. And really, you know, we have reservations for the victories here in the past couple of weeks against the Las Vegas Golden Lucarios. It still looks good, right? We're still seeing these pieces come together, and we're still seeing glimpses of what can be when Las Vegas makes the plays. But then there's just that one piece, that connecting piece, that just kind of gets stuck. It's almost like a sticky key where you're kind of making all those plays and you randomly run left and you go off a cliff. That's what we've seen. And for the Golden State Greninjas, they abuse that because the one wall that he can't break, which being Empoleon, yeah, he just kind of gets away with it. So, GG to the Golden State Greninjas, recognizing that win condition. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be getting into the featured matchup of the week between the Manchester Manectric and Todd, what's your name? Todd Skyrim Howard. You know what the worst part is? I actually took time to warm up my voice really well today, and I'm already having throat pain, and I'm forgetting words. But you know what's going to make me feel better? Betting. I don't know why. It's just going to. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Your bet is up. You can bet on the results between Manchester Manetric as well as Todd Skyrim Howard. After the break, we're going to return to see which of these two are going to be going home with some points. See you in 7. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ProPokeBowl Season 5, Week number 4. We're going to be getting into our feature matchup of the week between Todd Skyrim Howard and Manchester Manectric. I've been looking forward to this match all week. We've been talking about it on the ProPoke podcast. Gamma actually came up with the suggestion of these two teams being our suggested feature matchup. And you know what? The more I look at it, the more I get excited for it, because we know that Ivan started off in the ProPokeBowl as this mid-tier player, now has gone up to above mid-tier player. And Sotodude has shown that despite the fact he's not getting the points, he's playing it out very well, has the knowledge, and I suspect that he's going to go on the same path as what Ivan did throughout ProPokeBowl history. For the more that he participates, the more he battles throughout the weeks, the better his team's going to look, the better his play is going to look. So the question becomes, do you buy the game, or do you support the true growing up story? The story of Rudy, right? Ivan's like the story of Rudy, where he comes from this, he's like this little pipsqueak Pokemon player, but he's actually a Titan, because he's a champion, former champion, as well as been consistently getting top 6 in every ProPokeBowl he's been in. So I'm curious to see how this is going to match up. I'm very, very interested in the Kyurem Black being released, because Kyurem Black being released is terrifying. However, Galvantula being banned on the side of Manchester Manectric actually means that speed tiers are going to be so important, considering the fastest Pokemon you're going to find on Todd Skyrim Howard is that new sub coming into the team, Kingdra, taking Hoopa out of it. And with Rain Dance, that thing gets super fast with Swift Swim. And on top of that, Cobalion can match a lot of the speed that Manchester Manectric are going to have to try and find. You got Zygarde 10% with the Dragon Dance, probably Scarf Kyurem Black, if you even bring it. We were talking on the podcast, a lot of Pokemon actually say goodbye to that Kyurem Black. So if he doesn't get kills with it, if he doesn't sweep with it, a lot of things on the side of Todd Skyrim Howard could just say goodbye, right? Losing the Dragonite once again, never going to get his namesake, never going to get the Pokemon he actually wants to use. You know, it's in his banner, he's just not allowed to use his logo. You know? It's like banning a mascot from a basketball game. Kind of sucks, but, you know. So the way it goes, the other 11 get to shine more, but I'm very, very curious to see how this is going to go. Consider that we see the likes of the Chandelure and the Xurkitree and all these Pokemon that are mid 80 to 100 speed, and then you've got the Cobalion hitting the 108. Getting rid of something like Sticky Web is super great. However, there's still the likes of what Pokemon are going to be sweeping for who. That defensive core, do we have an answer? The answer is yes. That Togekiss, Alomomola, and Stack Attack, and Nidoqueen, anything that gets thrown in between those two, it's going to get worked a lot more than usual. So I don't expect Ivan to be able to get away with the same stally tactics as usual. Now the question is Ivan here? He's not actually here right now. We'll figure it out. Also, I'd like to know, if you guys look at the coach sheet, you see that top 3 weaknesses are brought to you by Initiator. He made a very, very concise weakness sheet, so thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Where's Ivan? Let's see. Let's see what we got here. God, I love this music. It's just so good with the drum and everything. Let's see if he responds on Discord. What else can we really talk about? Let's talk about how Sotodude's been actually looking, right? Like we know that he's got the Pokemon knowledge. I think with making more and more change to the team, he got rid of that Hoopa, which wasn't going to look like it was going to do much for him at all anyways. Brings in Kingdra. I think it's a very good trade. Gives him another water option, but just gives him another sweeping option, right? The things that we like about Sotodude, his sweeping timings seem to be pretty standard, seem to be pretty good, right? Not trying to force any plays through Pokemon he's not expecting to hit and stuff like this. Yes, he's got Primarina, he's got Jealous and all those other things, but I mean, having multiple types in your team, not necessarily the absolute worst thing. He's shown that he can make use of Weezing, he makes use of Cobalion, Jirachi, these Pokemon, Chandelure. He's making it through and going well with that, though Lurantis bringing the defog. So, despite the fact that he doesn't have great win-to-usage percentages on his coach sheet, it's not actually looking that bad for Todd Skyrim. He can still make a push for top 6, and like, this is why I'm so curious about this match, because we know Ivan is a feast or famine type of player, and when I see his defensive core get squandered, I just instantly freeze up. I go, ooh, okay, he's gonna, you know, He's only looked good when the opponents he's been beating at the moment haven't been destroying his defensive cores. He's been kind of getting away with for free with just firing back and constantly healing up. You know, think about last week where we just didn't see Tyler Poke break through. You know, the Roselia state's resilient. The Alomomola stayed up there. Togekiss barely was used. So he's looked really good in those situations. But when it gets torn down, that's when we see Ivan, even in the past, where it's just like, it all falls apart. It's literally a Jenga tower. Take out the wrong piece and the whole thing collapses. So if now we know that Todd Skyrim has the Pokemon to rip these things down. Okay, good. He's here. Awesome. If we see all this get ripped down, is this the time that Soto makes that push? Because I have high hopes. You know, it's that Rudy story versus the villain of the ProPokeBowl. These guys have been going together. They're showing the same promise. And now they can both show me and us what it's going to be in this featured matchup of the week. Let's take a look at the votes. We got 2 people saying it's a tie. We got 1 person who's saying Todd is going to get his game bought. Is that going to be the case? Are we going to see a 2-0 sweep here from Todd Skyrim Howard? Is he going to take down the beast that is Manchester Manectric? Join me with some Pokemon Masters music, ladies and gentlemen. Let's find out. Game number 1 in the second series of the night, the middle series. Todd Skyrim Howard on the close side, Manchester Manectric on the far side. Let's take a look at the Pokemon that they've got. We do see the release of Kyurem Black, finally making its first appearance in ProPokeBowl for Ivan. Now let's take a look at the Pokemon choice here. We do have the Ampharos. We do see those 2 Pokemon we were going to be looking at between the Kingdra and the Cobalion, which was kind of expected because no Sticky Web. And then on that side, it's looking like a Zygarde 10% type of sweep with that Kyurem most likely being Scarfed. But it will be a Jellicent versus Nidoqueen. Now we've seen this before when a special attacker wants to go up against Nidoqueen on the side of the Manchester Manectric. If Assault Vest is here, the nice thing is if this isn't carrying Thunderbolt, it's going to do a little better tanking up the hits because it's a Jellicent, right? And Jellicent has some tricks up its sleeve, could be carrying the likes of the Will-O-Wisp Hex combination. Just kidding, Thunderbolt's going to destroy it. Instead, though, we got to remember we have 2 resident Trick Room players, and Skyrim on Xbox bringing out that feature, not a bug, it's a feature. Because now you can try and go for a Scald, but, I mean, if it's Assault Vest, you don't really want to waste this, but remember, Ice Cold shows us that a good Trick Room team is self-reliant, whereas this type of Trick Room team needs to make a little more sacrifices to make things work, which means you have to win with it. Now, Trick Room with Kingdra is pretty cool, because Kingdra's only base 70 speed, so still makes good use of it. You've seen many examples of that on Initiator's team as well, where even just being mid-tier speeds are good enough to make Trick Room sweeps happen. Now, Necrozma will come in and be able to tank up the hits, actually tanked it up very, very well. And obviously, Ivan's plan here is going to be to stall out the Trick Room as much as he possibly can. As the other power is going to come in on the Lurantis. Lurantis threatening with the likes of Knockoff. Ooh, actually misses the Leaf Storm. Doesn't even give the attack boost. Photon Geyser will come out, does a lot of damage. You don't want to see that if you're Todd Skyrim Howard. That 10% stings quite a bit. However, if he is carrying Knockoff, I think Knockoff got him a lot more value in that particular situation than trying to set up the +2. Because we already saw Necrozma's probably got that special defense bonus. But nonetheless, he has Synthesis. So let's not worry too much here. Synthesis will actually out-tank that damage. But that Trick Room is gone. So, now he's just on defense mode. He has to spam Synthesis. And for Manchester Manectric, he doesn't care. If he gets to keep spamming and keep this thing on the defense, it doesn't cost him anything. That critical hit, though, I was just thinking it. Oh, that's commentator's thinking curse, where I was thinking, is the crit going to happen and not make us sit through 6 more Synthesis? And the answer is yes. Now, Chandelure will make its appearance after that unfortunate kill. No value not only lost, but also squandered from Pokemon being Pokemon. Tragedy, but let's see what Chandelure could do here, try and redeem some things here for Todd Skyrim Howard. Earth Power is going to come out, actually does a fair amount, but still not too bad. The Trick Room, once again, will be set up. Now, unfortunately, this is a 2-hit KO with Earth Power. I didn't even know Necrozma got Earth Power. I mean, I don't know, a lot of things get a lot of moves, but hey, Earth Power is revealed. So, Necrozma is going to threaten this thing to die to another hit, but if that Shadow Ball comes out, that's Necrozma basically being taken down. But hey, Necrozma getting 2 kills in exchange for its HP, not the worst. Ooh. But Kingdra coming in as the Photon Geyser comes out. Not too bad for the damage you want to see on this. This could be Choice Specs Kingdra, something just to truly tank a bunch of damage, but he's actually still faster then than a crossbow, so that actually means he probably has speed investment for the likes of a sweeper. That did nothing to this shining brilliance that likes to steal light from everything, but I don't know. That's a lot of damage done to a Kingdra, but it didn't show Life Orb. So on the bright side, if it does have any sweep potential, it's not going to be shown in game number 1. As you just see the Kingdra drop, and the plan that Soto has is not happening right now. He's set up the Trick Room, but no damage is getting done. And once again, Ivan get away with a super defensive, again, defense not being taken down. Ivan's just winning through defense, but the fact that he just could deal damage. But it's not over yet. It's still 6-4. We don't think that this Jellicent's going to live a Photon Geyser, but might try and just get some extra damage off, go for Toxic, something like that. But with the damage that I took prior, it's just not going to get a lot done. So what does this mean for him, right? What is this actually going to do for him, considering the damage is done and there's not much coming back, so the Ice Beam is going to come through. Try to get the cheese, but hey, you know what? He only gets rocks against him, not the worst. Didn't get the freeze, though. He wanted that 10% freeze, and I don't mind the memes trying to come out of here. Photo Geyser misses the kill as the Aguav actually comes in plus recover. Basically a healing wish in the form of a berry and some psychic powers that you absorb yourself in. As Trick Room will now come back out, but Nidoqueen, we've seen this before, 66% from that Thunderbolt last time. But maybe he tests now and goes for Scald to see, are we looking at Assault Vest damage or are we looking at Life Orb? Because with that damage dealt to Jellicent, I have a hard time believing. That's a tough call. I don't know. Jellicent doesn't have any investment. I think that is going to be a Life Orb Nidoqueen. Because Jellicent most likely doesn't have any special attack investment. Based on that damage, you know, I think Scald would have been a better indicator there. Because if Scald brought it down to more 50%, then I'd be all like, yeah, this is definitely not Assault Vest. And you know what? We're going to get that you know, I don't know. That's really tough. I thought it'd make it easier. The answer is it didn't. But hey. Also, Marine looking fabulous in that Pro Pokenoob hat. Absolutely fabulous. Don't know if it's Life Orb or not, Gamma, because both of those have proc effects, and with Sheer Force, you don't get to see it. Mega Ampharos Fabio, whip the hair out, take the ponytail, put the hair on your tail, and go to town? I don't know. Either way, he is going to get a kill here, the first kill for Todd Skyrim, but now Stack Attack comes in, and guess what? Stack Attack is really slow, carries Earthquake, and you don't want to see Fabio dragged into a fissure. That's too much hair to get shoved into a crack, and that joke's going to stop right there. As now we need Todd Skyrim Power to make a switch. But Earthquake is going to come out. Ooh, lives it. What does he got for us? Focus Blast misses! No! Focus Blast does not work. You're right, loyal viewer. You know that Focus Blast actually has only 30% accuracy, not 70. As now a crossbow can come in, Focus Blast does actually hit on this one, so Manchester Pedestrian feeling super safe, but that was super lucky, because I'm pretty sure that would have killed, as now he's faster. Obviously, he's going to get the Earth Power kill, and it's all falling apart for the Trick Room team, as Cobalion is now fast. We'll try and get something done, but because Earth Power is on basically everything, so many ground moves just chipping away at the side of Soto Dude. Actually, the Z move come in. Continental Crush. Rocky of Z used it. Look at that. It doesn't even do 50%. But look how much damage it gives back. It's just so tanky. There's no setup. And with no setup, that means that Ivan just tanks up everything. And this is what we've been trying to ask for people to do. To find the Swords Dances, to find the Dragon Dances, you need the likes of the +2s, you need the Nasty Plots, you need all of these moves to basically break Ivan's resolve. He's getting nothing done. You can see it happening. He tanks it up all the way to full. Perfectly safe, and you know, that's just going to be it. Flash Cannon actually revealed instead of the likes of Ironhead, and that's going to be game one. Going over to the Manchester Manetra. Grip to the person who voted for Soto Dude going for the 2-0. But something's going to have to change in the locker rooms because Ivan right now, he's looking too sturdy for his own good. And like we said, the more points Ivan takes going throughout the season, doesn't matter if he drops to the top end because he's above the top. But really, seeing that damage from the likes of Flamethrower, Shadow Ball would have done a lot. But hey, hindsight's 20/20. As Ivan says, It's 1-0. Oh boy. And one thing I didn't actually consider is a lot of his team is weak to ground. A lot of Todd Skyrim's Howard's team is weak to ground. It's actually really weak to ground. You know what also makes me sad? Now that I think about it, he is a Trick Room player. Why didn't he let Galvantula through? Because Galvantula's fast and drops Sticky Web, which makes him slower, which means because he loses Sticky Web, probably Galvantula's not going to run anyways. Oh. I just thought that one now. I forgot that Soda Dude is actually an avid Trick Room player, too. Arguably, between two teams, it's kind of difficult to compare the results at the moment, but yeah, that's what it looks like, ladies and gentlemen. When Manchester Manectric doesn't have their defense broken, it just looks so nasty on the side of Ivan, because this is what he does. He's like, if you're not setting up, I'm settling in. You're not going to break it. And Necrozma doing so much work in that match. And, you know, like, did we even see a Loma Mole in that game? No, we saw Stack Attack, we saw Necrozma, we saw the Nidoqueen. I got to see that damage. I got to do a damage calc, but then it also might reveal the moveset. So I'm not going to say it out loud. I just really want to see. Because honestly... Yeah, okay. I'll reveal it after. But, like, dude, you know? One second. I gotta check something. We have a dispute here! Something is not right in my calculations. It could just be a bug. I know, PokePaste bugs sometimes, but let me just double check. Okay, yeah, never mind. Just bugged out. In the damage calculator, it wasn't showing that Nidoqueen had Thunderbolt, but on the PokePaste it has Thunderbolt, so no biggie, just have to check. Nonetheless, what is the call here? What is the call here for Todd Skyrim Howard? Less things weak to rock, less things weak to ground, right? Based on that team, man, Weezing looking pretty good. If you have, like, let's see. So he has to make a change around getting, because if he brings Jirachi, he's going to get blasted by ground, right? So that Necrozma needs breaking. I think Lurantis, if it's carrying the knockoff, needs to go for it, put the pressure down, knowing that it's a special defensive poke. It's tanking all of these hits. Like, you saw how much, it's just bulky on both ends. So if he's mixed defenses or whatever he's doing with those defenses, he needs to find his way in. And if he doesn't use anything that breaks these walls, Chandelure maybe has to do it, but now you know how much damage you're taking from an Earth Power. So Shadow Ball on that Chandelure, start getting to work, because Ivan's bringing speed tiers. He seems to be knowing what he's doing when it comes to his speed tiers, because right now he's looking for that 2-0, and I don't think Todd wants to give that to him. Can you blame him? Everybody wants points because everybody wants to make it to those playoffs for the glory of trying to be a ProPokeBowl champion. Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. We need to get into it because Todd Skyrim needs to make up for lost room here. Let's check it out in game number 2. Oh, it bugged. That's okay. That's just my computer being trash. Game number 2, Manchester looking for the 3 points, trying to keep up with the top 6. Maybe even top 3. Todd needs to take it away from the Primarina and the Weezing. Both make their way in. So, less weakness to ground, but Necrozma still kind of unchecked. And on the other side here, nothing changing for Ivan. Look at this crowd. Shoutouts to everybody who comes on to Showdown and watches the battles live, because that's freaking cool. I'm glad that there's so much support for all of these players who are putting in the time and the devotion to make the ProPokeBowl a thing, and a beautiful thing at that. We are going to see the Earth Power fly out here as the Chandelure's actually sent in, brought to 1% with that Focus Sash. So it does get the setup, and we're definitely going to see if this thing is Life Orb or Assault Vest. Because Chandelure firing at Nidoqueen, Nidoqueen's going to take a chunkage if it's not pack and defense. What's it gonna be, Chandelure? Does it give its life for ire, or does it light it up with fire? The answer is Nidoqueen still slower. So what's happening here is Nidoqueen is base 76 speed, and Soto Dude doesn't seem to have negative speed investment in his Pokemon to make it work. So if we're really thinking about base speeds, Ivan's got a slow team. He doesn't have the investment. He doesn't have the negative speed IV. So if he's trying to set something up, it's not working. And based on what we saw from Kingdra, Kingdra might have speed investment. So we're about to find out if he's actually at that base 70 or if this is actually meant to be a sweeping Kingdra being sent out at the wrong time again. But, hey, if you don't have Assault Vest, the Hydro Pump from this thing should kill off Nidoqueen, or at least bring it really, really low if it's offensive. Actually, if it's offensive, it should die. I don't know. I'm not totally sure. We're about to find out. We don't even know what item is on it. Earth Power happens, and lo and behold, it's an offensive Kingdra and brings the safe option. And guess what happens when you bring safety? You don't get results per se. Now, I'm not condoning lack of safety, but when a Pokemon match matters and damage matters, the difference between Surf and missing Hydro Pump is kind of a kill that you needed. But that is most certainly a Life Orb Nidoqueen based on that damage. Would have tanked it up a lot better than that, so the Primarina is now going to make its way in, but here's the problem. Yeah, Thunderbolt's free. He's got the coverage. It's a safe move to use, considering nothing absorbs it. Not even, what does Ampharos at base have as an ability? I forget. I don't think it's Volt Absorb or anything, but hey, nonetheless, you know what? Gets the damage down to the Primarina. And, you know, Primarina at base is still not... Oh, it is slower. I thought it was 79 for some reason. Am I wrong? I could be wrong. Honestly, I thought Primarina was faster than this. Either way, it's going to get the kill finally. So Nidoqueen's down. This is good for Todd Skyrim Howard. That Pokemon was doing a lot of damage. But you know what? It's kind of already done all that damage. So Ivan, not too worried about dropping that after it's pretty much done its job. But it won't do more damage. Thank you, Gamma Static. So now what comes out here? So Primarina's standing out. The Trick Room is gone, which means the likes of Stack Attack is still going to have to take a hit. If we do have that Kyurem Black, if it wants to show that it has Earth Power too, we could have 4 Pokemon using Earth Power for God's sake. Or 5 Pokemon really using Earth moves. You know, technically all 6 of these Pokemon can learn Earthquake or Earth Power. So, you know, let's just keep our opinions grounded. Anyway, Zygarde 10% will make its way in. This is kind of risky, but I guess he knows he's faster because of that speed investment, and he will be able to kill with 1,000 arrows. Good damage knowledge here from Manchester Manectric, although it should have been kind of expected because Primarina can't really cake those hits very well. So, outside of Trick Room, Scarfy here. Well, this is not True Scarfy. This is Dog Scarfy. True Scarfy's back in the trade pool, and I'm so disappointed in each and every one of you who is not running Cinccino. Regardless. Kingdra will come in, but, you know, yeah, Zygarde 10%, really fast, and 1,000 arrows, really strong. Outrage is a thing this can run, so, yeah. Cinccino. Okay. That was easy. That's all it took, really? Easiest contract ever. Alright, what do we see here? Because the Kingdra's going to come in just to die. 42%, if he thinks he can tank the hit up, maybe. But it is actually Ivan take his time. He's going to go into Necrozma, so maybe he knows. Actually. Oh. Maybe he suspects Scarf Kingdra? Because Draco would have killed, but he ended up going for Surf, so he would have lived and gotten the kill back. Interesting. Maybe he thinks because... You know what? Okay, hold on. Because they're both running speed investment, right? So since Nidoqueen went slower... Yeah, since Nidoqueen went slower, this might be Scarf Kingdra. That's a good scout by Ivan, actually. That's good knowledge, seeing that the Nidoqueen went faster before, which means that if this thing's base 70 and Nidoqueen's 76 and they're both running max speed, theoretically... Nope, he's... That... I don't know, actually. But hey, you know what? We don't have to worry about it anymore because Kingdra's dead. So... I'm confused as to why they... Oh. Wait, no. Kingdra's 85. I thought it was 70 speed for some reason. Never mind. I'm dumb. Ish. It's just faster. Nonetheless, goes in for the double, but hey, this is a neutral hit. Ivan still doesn't care. And look at the damage. What the hell is the Necrozma, man? NU pickup, but look how much work it's doing for Manchester United. Yes, Continental Crunch goes through, but we saw it did what? Less than 50%? Yeah, less than 50% says thank you very much. Soak up Rocky MZ with my Moonlight. Let's just take the shards of Continental Crunch, shove it onto my Moon, Sparkle, and heal. Because Flash Cannon's gonna do absolutely nothing. I think Soto Dude is mentally distraught because he has nothing left to win. There's no Trick Room, there's no damage. He's got nothing except a Prism standing in his way that's gonna eat all of his light and all of his chances of taking a point off of the Manchester Manectric in the regular season. Because what more can be done here for Todd Skyrim Howard? Mega Ampharos, but again, every Pokemon has Earthquake potentially, or Earth Power, so how much more can he tank? You gotta feel for Fabio. Yeah. He's looking at it, he says, nope. Not for me, not today. Ivan, take your 3 points. I'm gonna do this music instead. There we go. GG! The consistency continues here. Ivan on the feasting side of his tendencies. And you gotta admit, you know what? It's been really cool to see Ivan bring these really innovative defensive cores. Not even innovative, but just bringing the right defensive cores to be able to soak up the hits at the right time. I really, really, really think that he's doing a great job with that. So, GG to him, GG to Soto Dude. You know, it's tough when not being able to break it, but he never got an opportunity to actually break through and use any setup, right? If he had Swords Dance on the Cobalion or anything like that, he never got a chance to work it in. So, you know, that's just the way it looks when you're battling Ivan, and what more can you really say? Because that's just going to be it. But nonetheless, that is going to be a 2-0 over to Ivan. I don't think anybody voted that, so rip. Boop. There we go. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, we have one more series for you tonight. Lunar Cresselias versus Traverse City Thunderous after this break. Thank you very much for watching the Pro Pokeball Season 5. Welcome back, everybody, to the Pro Pokeball Season 5, week number 4, with our last series of the night. The rematch of the Pro Pokeball Pre-Season 5 Finals between Lunar Cresselias and Traverse City Thunderous. Tyler Poke versus Sharking. Last time these two met, Tyler Poke Trainer took a very cheesy win at the end. Hacks being on his side. Hasn't been the case for in this tournament yet. Not quite. We haven't seen him per se crack out of his cocoon, but once Tyler Poke Trainer becomes a beautiful butterfly, we have a feeling he's going to fly all over the competition. On the side of the Sharking, keeping up to his ruthless aggression. I love how there's just two animal analogies. One's an insect, actually, but there's two nature-based analogies I'm going to be going with. It is the butterfly, flies like a butterfly, versus, well, massacres like a shark. Anyways, Sharking showing his very good resolve and is showing how a hyper-aggressive team should be played in this tournament. How it should be played in general. But what's really curious to me is the fact that with the bans and the trades that are coming out, we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of things switching out and a lot of things being taken down. First of all, Traverse City Thunderous losing their Gyarados. Lunar Cresselias losing their Manectric. Manectric being that very free and very fast Pokemon, which could cause the likes of Traverse City Thunderous some problems when they're not set up. So getting rid of their offensive threat, not too bad. However, it does leave Pidgeot open. So now, this is the assumption that Sharking can handle that 100% accurate Hurricanes more often by potentially hoping that his Stone Edge is on his Rhyperior will be doing, well, perfectly fine, because, hey, no guard works both ways, right? Two-way street, the only two-way street you don't want in life. And that's your bird getting completely bombarded by a bunch of Rising Rocks. But Lunar Cresselias actually, we feel like, has a pretty good match here. Did trade out the Electrode, finally being a very useless Pokemon on this roster, in for Cryogonal, another spinner for him to potentially use, as well as just being a Jack-of-all-trades, just being an Ice-type Jack-of-all-trades, which isn't your best, but can still work out well for you. So just having more options like that, not a big deal. Honestly, Electrode was most likely, with the teams he's been running, he doesn't need Electrode. It's pretty much dead weight. Why not bring a new Pokemon onto the team? One that's going to give you more value in some clutch situations. Maybe you go up against the likes of, you know, Golden State Greninjas, and all of a sudden, not very effective on Golden State Greninjas becomes neutral when using Freeze Dry, or something of the sort. So, special defensive Pokemon works well for him. Traverse City Thunderous also making the trade. The Archeops has been dropped for the Haunter. You can drop lower tiers for this, and the Haunter, I think, is just another offensive option. Has the likes of the Destiny Bond. Obviously, I forgot to make all those changes, or I don't remember I put that message out on the Pro Poke podcast in the comments section. I was going to mention that I was wrong. I meant to say Return on Mega Lopunny was going to be as effective as Fire Punch on Lopunny. But the other thing is, Haunter has one distinct difference that it can't be like its bigger brother Gengar, and that is it can't run Focus Blast, if I recall. It only gets Hidden Power fighting. So it generally will be running with less speed, it'll be running with less offense, but, you know, it's still really good. Let's actually pull up some stats here and just do some analysis on the likes of the Haunter. Yeah, it doesn't get Focus Blast, so it has to rely on HP fighting, which is a huge neutering to it. Does it get Dazzling Gleam? It does, so it still carries a lot of coverage, but, you know, the difference in stats from Gengar's, now you got 95 speed and 115 special attack on Haunter. Not too bad for a glass cannon. That's going on to the warehouse of glass cannons in the Pro Pokeball. So, do I think it's a good pickup? I think it's better than the Archeops and where you're trying to make it work. But does also get access to the Levitate, which is nice. Kind of odd how not all of them got killed off, but hey. Choice Band Shadow Punch can always be a thing that you run, Gamma. Of course. But we'll have to see. I think it's going to come down to very similar situations here for Tyler Poke, looking to get as much damage done with his fast Pokemon before anything gets swept up. With Gyarados gone, Sharking's looking to keep that Volcarona nice and safe. How much value are we going to see out of Aurora Veil? How much of anything is going to be happening? Because I am looking forward to wherever they are in this match. But it's going to get scary because if the sweep happens, you know, there's no coming back from that. Our last soundtrack reveal of the night. F's in chat for all of the Pokemon Masters action I'm going to get today. Oh well. Let's just get into it. Why are you broken? Stop being broken. Damn you. Oh well. Last series. Let's go. Lunar Cresselias on the close side. Traverse City Thunderous on the far side. We do see the Haunter, and look at that, Alolan Muck making his sneaky way into this. That is a really fat team on the far side for Traverse City Thunderous, but a very sweepy side. No Alolan Ninetales, so feeling safe enough to be able to get his Pokemon in here. Now, we do have to note that there are a couple of ways that Traverse City Thunderous can get some advantages here. D-Bond could be on that Haunter, same thing with the U-turn on the Serena. Try and get Volcarona in on the right time. It will be the Incineroar v Serena lead. Don't want to risk. If you are Scarf, you go for the hit, but Incineroar will roast this Serena. I don't think you want to drop that right away. Let's take a look at Lure Cresselia's team. We do see that Pidgeot make his way into the freaking Miltank. Coming back in. We saw Miltank try and do stuff last week. Will it get more done this week? Not too sure. Like we said, it's a very fast Stealth Rock setter. Likes to give a lot of utility in the form of Heal Bell. Has Milk Drink to keep itself safe. Everything else like that. We are going to see the U-turn start this off for the Kabutops to come in. Most likely a knockoff just come in. No! We actually see another U-turn come in. Now, this is unfortunate for Lure Cresselia's because double speed on that Kabutops means that it will be able to get a free hit off, and it does mean you can't go into a lot of things. However, knowing that it's only got rock and water moves you gotta, per se, worry about, Seismitoad feels pretty good here, double speed or not, so still not too much lost here. It's just getting a nice damage down, also threatening that -1 defense. If he stays in, tries to do something to the likes of the Seismitoad. I don't think we're gonna see Giga Drain Kabutops today. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see, Lure Cresselia's taking the time here to think it out. It will be Seismitoad coming in. Okay, so, Giga Drain Kabutops. Come on, Shark King, we know you can do it. I'm just kidding. But nonetheless, you know what? Serena still feels safe coming back in on this, just trying to get those advantages. Because again, with hyper-aggressives, you got to keep the momentum going, so you have to keep your opponent on their toes. And if you threaten with the Trop Kick or the Power Whip, you are going to be able to get that appropriate attacker in just by going for U-turn, right? You don't take those risks. You can't take those risks. And if you do, if you're not going to gain anything back from it, well, you don't lose much. But hey, you know what? Get some damage on Serena. Don't see leftovers. Most likely a Choice Scarf Serena, as we've seen many times that Shark King has brought this tournament thus far. But you can't take the risk this early. Seismitoad's really nice to keep against the Kabutops. You have Pokemon that can take the hits here. But then again, you also have to think, hey, Miltank can come in, but what if the high jump kick is dropped? I don't think it's that much of a prediction. But then again, 3 Pokemon that like to come in on those moves won't appreciate a high jump kick. So maybe you just go for it. Try and go for as much damage as you can, potentially. But you don't have that great... Well, actually, you know what? This team is not being so much Glass Cannon-y now that he has the Alolan Muck and the Aggron in the back. So still has a fair amount of bulk to kind of tank up hits and deliver damage back to set up a sweep. Doesn't have to pivot as hard to make that stuff happen. So we'll have to see what Lure Cresselia's going to go for here. Timer is ticking down for them. The win condition here for Lure Cresselia's is going to be that Mega Pidgeot. Just got to make sure nothing sets up. Just keep spamming Hurricanes. Get all the damage down. Luckily for the likes of Hurricane users, Hurricane has 10 power points, which means it gets buffed up to 16. So you don't have to worry about 8 power point usage here with the likes of No-Guard. You get 16 Hurricanes at 100% accuracy, 30% chance to confuse. It's pretty good. Rindo Berry actually knocked off. That's really good information for Shark King to keep in the future in case if this is a defensive side. So it didn't look that defensive with the damage or knockoff, but maybe it is. Who knows? I'm not too sure about these damage calcs per se. But that is good to note for the future. But hey, Toxic actually comes in. That's a really interesting choice, considering, well, 3 Pokemon don't care for Toxic. Volcarona, Kabutops weren't going to be coming in, so free switch here for the likes of the Traverse City Thunderous. Fog rolling in, but what is going to be the answer to any damage that this Haunter might want to do? Don't think a Thunderbolt's going to come out, so maybe you go Pidgeot, try and threaten with that. I mean, this thing's not going to appreciate taking any damage anyway, so. What is it going to be? Grass. No, we're not going back to Grass Punch beams. That is very Gen 6-7. Freaking Grass Punch, aka Needle Arm. Weaker punches. It should have been Elemental Punch. This should have been Needle Punch. That would have been cool. Yeah, where's my Frost Kick? That'd be cool. Cresselia's taking out of those 2 minutes. We've seen Lure Cresselia's take a lot of time, probably doing damage calcs with some kind of checks. Incineroar will be the play as a substitute. Ooh, okay. So substitute, luckily for him, will get him a lot of damage down. He'll be able to scout what was going to be used, but it also just gives him free hits. And You know, if this could be the Life Orb substitute. You sometimes saw it way back in the day. I'm used to Scarf Haunter, but Sludge Bomb's gonna do an okay amount, but it is that, oh wow, it is that throwback to Life Orb substitute. I haven't seen that in quite some time. I also haven't seen Pokemon in quite some time, so, you know, whatever. But anyways, probably noting that Sludge Bomb damage, that's an Assault Vest Incineroar. Not gonna be getting much done here with the Haunter being in. Maybe checking for something like Pursuit. Maybe you run Pursuit on the Incineroar? I don't know, but nonetheless, the knockoff comes through, breaks that sub, which means Sharky probably has to find an answer, or just let this thing die off and try and get Switch Initiative. Would he get Switch Initiative? You know, you don't want to take a knockoff here from the Incineroar, no matter how much damage you're going to be doing, right? But what does he go into? Probably Aggron has to be the answer. Still neutral with a fire hit. Knockoff won't do as much damage because the Z Crystal won't get knocked off. If it is indeed not our friend, the Rockhead Head Smash Choice Banded Aggron. Oh, it would have been so fun to see. But nonetheless, he is going to opt to sack this off as we'll see what items on it. Well, wait. We saw already what's items on it. We'll see it again. Life Orb just going whoop out of the gas. So now he will have switch advantage as the Kabutops will make its way. It makes the most sense. Liquidation pretty free here. Although, oh, never mind, he is faster. Wow, why do I keep thinking that this thing is, I don't know. Don't worry about it, I'll get used to it. Stone Edge will come out, makes the most sense. Ah, it's a wonderful crit that Sharking wants to see, as Shaman is basically, like, dumpster. Chia not going to be growing anymore, but the Alolan will have to come in. It will be a Pursuit Trapper most likely, as the Seafoam will come out. Not do a lot of damage, though. And because it's Life Orb, Pursuit Trapping makes even more sense here. That would be enough damage to take it out from this range. So I think the Shaman... Oh, never mind! Trick up the sleeve for Tyler Poke as the Healing Wish shown and heals Incineroar back to full. That's a valuable Healing Wish to get this thing up. It was tanking special hits and now comes in probably looking to knock off that Assault Vest at the very least. And, you know, Gunk Shot will hurt, but at least with Intimidate will tank up some of that damage for it. As the Kabutops will now come in, try and get that weak armor. But you really gotta worry. Oh, never mind. Earthquake comes out, takes it down. But that could be potentially Sharking trying to find an in with Aggron? Volcarona doesn't feel good here because the rocks are still... He's got to get that spin-off with Serena. I think that's what he's trying to get in to do. But really, do you go for the spin? Because I don't think he can win with Volcarona right now. It will be the Aggron indeed making its way in. Does carry the Earthquake. Doesn't have the Intimidate drop on that. But man, Lunar Cresselia show up a little bit more here. Keeping Sharking on his toes, not giving him a chance to try and find that sweep, try and get that in. A lot of damage done to the defense as well so far. Well, not to the defense per se, but slowly we're losing these Pokemon that could be putting down a lot of damage, just giving Volcarona an easy time in the end, or that Scarf Serena if it is indeed Scarfed. I don't think it's banded. I'm not sure, actually. I feel like it's Assault Vest based on the damage it took from the Sludge Bomb from the Haunter. Mega will come through. It's not banded, so it is Assault Vest. I was right. Yay! Sidestone will come in. Toxic misses! That's kind of big, considering Mega Aggron can't do much to this Toad. That's going to sting a bit for Traverse City Thunderous, as they don't want to see this Pokemon coming out, potentially getting a burn on the Mega Aggron. That's a big deal. But Lunar Cresselia's 60 seconds. Actually goes for the Toxic on the Mega Aggron. Potentially, again, one-fifth the team does not get, or one-half the team does not get affected by that. Unless he was predicting the likes of the Volcarona to come in, but it wouldn't make much sense, as now the Toxic will be fired off, so a little bit of time lost here. We've seen this before in Lunar Cresselia battles. You don't want to see it happen again. You hate to see it non-stop. But gets the damage on the Mega Aggron. The more he can hurt this Pokemon, the better, because there's no healing options for it unless it's running Rest. I don't think it's going to. Defensive is probably running Heavy Slam and Earthquake or Thunder Wave or something like that. Just trying to bring more pressure here. But the more damage it gets done, that means Heat Wave Mega Pidgeot could do much later. But you know what? It's actually looking really good. If he gets Mega Pidgeot in with the Serena handled, I think it's pretty much toast. Yeah, Serena's going to come in, it's taking more damage, as the Skull will come out. If he gets a burn, that'd be horrible for him. And he does get the burn on the Serena, and now it's looking dicier for the Traverse City Thunderous. That is not what you want to see. A lot of hacks hurting him. And this is starting to feel a lot like preseason. I'm pretty sure Sharking's feeling the same way. Luckily for him, though, the spin will come out for free, as the Pidgeot will make its way in. So, Volcarona looking primed and ready. Doesn't have to take the 50% tax. But the question is, with potentially 2 Stealth Rockers still being alive, What can you do? The Mega's gonna come in, the Hurricane. If this gets the confusion, I don't know really what to say. For the love of God, I have to stop talking, as now Heat Wave will take it out too. This is looking good. Maybe a repeat, except a series of 2 this time, so Sharkin can make it back if nothing goes his way. Assault Vest not knocked off in this Alolan Muck, so still feeling okay to tank it up and try and put this thing down with a Gunk Shot. U-turn is gonna happen to make sure that Pursuit won't even be able to do much to it. U-turn is pretty standard. I'm pretty sure a Gunk Shot's coming out. But it is 5-3, and Record Man looking to take those points. Sorry, Tyler Poke. Either way. Seismitoad will come in, be the sacrificial Toad. Knockoff will come out. Rindo Berry's already gone. Doesn't matter. If he can get the value here, we might see Shadow Sneak. Most likely not, though. We might get the rocks back up. Serena's going to make its way back in as the Earth Power does fire out. That's just more and more damage onto this, but he can't risk that damage on the Alolan Muck. Now, nice thing is, without the rocks, Alolan Muck still staying tanky to try and threaten. Once it tanks a Hurricane and goes for Gunk Shot. Must know the damage calcs, and plus, not seeing these gotten rid of, we need to see that Excadrill this week with Rapid Spin to make sure that he's not brought into range to die. Body Slam comes through, takes the Serena out. It's actually not Scarfed, because we saw Body Slam go faster, so was that max, wait a minute. Was that max speed Miltank? I would have thought it would have outsped, but okay, either way. Serena's taken down. It comes down to this. Volcarona has to carry the team, or Alolan Muck has to do enough damage to let that happen. But it's not a Scarfed Serena, so this should be interesting. Unless this is a Scarfed... No, this can't be a Scarfed Miltank. Are you freaking... What? Oh, what? That's a Scarfed Cow! God, I love the ProPokeBowl. I have a tear in my eye. That's so beautiful. He actually went for the Focus Punch. Oh, no. There's no way this is happening. He's gonna destroy. Oh, my God. I love this tournament. Focus Punch Muck. And Scarfed Miltank. But the Hurricane, he's weak enough. He takes him down, and now it's Volcarona versus the world. But it's at full HP, but it's not set up. This could be the win for the Lunar Cresselias. It's enough damage. Game 1 goes the way of the finals last time, as Tyler Poke puts down Sharking. That's beautiful. I love it. Freaking love it. Wow. And this is a really good thing to talk about today, because there are big implications between how you can play in a series of 2 with no prior knowledge compared to how you can play in a series of 5, or sorry, in a best of 5, because what ends up happening is you can't get away with these types of plays in the playoffs, right? But here's the thing, to get in with these plays is possible, right? And now Lunar Cresselias has taken a point off of one of our better teams in the tournament. This is promising, right? This is a much better look. Yes, he got hit by the Focus Blast, but I think, you know what, at the end of the day, they can both go smiling and grimacing a bit, because you see the Scarfed Miltank take on that Scarfed Serena, and that won it for him, right? You take that out, doesn't expect it. Yeah, so he doesn't get the set of rocks. Doesn't matter. He's taking so much damage that you're not getting anything back, and in the end, that other fast Pokemon, and luckily for him, taking out the Gyarados, that we did mention this, with Gyarados gone, he didn't need Manectric, right? So the ban on Manectric, when he gets his Gyarados ban, Manectric would have been for Gyarados, Pidgeot's for Volcarona. So he's got the Pokemon. That's cool to see, right? There's definitely going to be some switching going on here, because there's a couple of occasions. I don't think the Haunter was going to do much, considering that we saw the Assault Vest in or a tank that hits too much. So what do we actually see come out of him? It's a great question. Jump Kick Dodrio is a thing? I mean, then again, it doesn't even need... Oh, no, it's Dark type, it's not Fighting type, but... Do we see Ninetales, right? Do we need that setup? Is Kabuto... I think Kabuto still gets a fair amount of value, but Tyler Poke played really well around it. The Shaman didn't get to do much either, but I mean, the Pokemon were there for both players. I think in the end, it was just that Scarf Miltank really got the better of Sharking, and he didn't expect it. I wouldn't expect it. Who the hell expects Choice Scarf Miltank? But when it mattered, it did its job. That's a very Ivan play, gotta say. That's pulling an Ivan. I'm loving it. Astounding. Now, this has implications, because can both make switches to make it work? I don't... You know? Oh, man. if you wanted more safety against the likes of that Muck, you can kind of see if he has Focus Blast, probably has Gunk Shot, Knock Off, and Pursuit, right? Did we see all 4 moves on it? I don't think we did. Let me just double check. Yeah, we didn't see all 4 moves on it, so you can assume there's no coverage for the Gligar, so Gligar might actually feel pretty good here. Another Rocker, Defogger for yourself if you really need it. I don't think he needs it per se, because Pidgeot is going to feel better than the Volcarona after Rocks. Man, that is... Ow! Now, you gotta give credit, though. I mean, the Focus Punch makes sense to get the Excadrill, I guess, if it was Rocks or something like that, if he was using Rocks. But hey, you know what? Makes things all the sweeter to see and what we're going to be seeing in game number 2 here, because this is Shark King's game that he needs to win. If he starts losing points here and Tyler Poke takes the 3 points away from Shark King, he's going to be slipping away for that top 2. You want that top 2, right? Let me just take a quick peek at the stats for points, because again, every point matters in this tournament. Yeah, he's sitting at the top, or he was sitting barely at the top here, 2 points under Fortnite Ninjas, 1 point under I Am Groot. You lose 3 points here today, and those guys walk away with points next week. Does he control his own destiny in week 5? Because losing that is just going to put him further and further behind. Who plays? Now he plays against Soto Dude, and Groot plays against Coma, so to assume that Sweet D has a really big advantage in week 5, don't drop points in these situations. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be dropping points because Tyler Poke isn't the best player. What I'm saying is, based on the performance we were seeing, and based on what we expected from Tyler Poke, this was Shark King's game to win. He had to win it, and he showed this is skill. But again, the tax comes out. You got to look at the burn. You got to look at all this stuff, the confusion. Not that it paid off, really, but the burn on this arena makes it a big deal. A lot of things didn't go Shark King's way, so without that hacks, I think Shark King could still look strong. Will we see it in game 2? Can he pull it back? I think so. I really think that Shark King is going to be okay here. It's not looking dire. It's not looking treacherous for him. He's just gotta... He's gotta get in without all that cheese. That's pretty much it. Give me more Pokemon Masters music. Where are you? I'll find you. Wait. I'll find more Pokemon Masters music. Don't tempt me. I've got it all. There it is. Alright. They're ready for game number 2. I'm ready for game number 2. Let's get ready for the last match of the night here with Lunar Cresselia's up 1-0. It's so broken and I'm so sad. But in game number 2 here, it is up to TC Thunders find his way in, and that Starmie does make its way in along with the Alolan Ninetales. Says, let's invest in a little bit more bulk. Let's try and get more damage done. Can he pull it off? Let's find out. So good. Anyways. So, Lunar Cresselia is saying this works, don't fix what ain't broke. That Scarfed Miltank is going to be leading off against the Aggron. Now, this makes a lot of sense, because the Aggron was the one that was going to take a bunch of damage. Try and get more Rocks pressure down. With those switches, he was getting away with a lot of free switches. If you get that Pidgeot already pressured for the very beginning, you're going to be feeling good. More damage everything's taking, the more damage is going to rack up. And Rocks plus Hail, fair amount of damage you got to worry about. Stealth Rock will come out, but again, we saw this last time. Sidestone not liking that Toxic, but if he gets the burn on the Mega Aggron, feels good, man. If he misses everything, feels bad, man. Starmie comes in, feels weird. Feels okay, man. Doesn't do anything. Starmie can tank up the hits, has Natural Cure probably as well, so it doesn't worry about burns, doesn't worry about Toxic, anything like that. And it could easily spin right away if it needed to. Could also be bringing... It could be Gracium Z. I don't know. If it brings it in, it makes it sound like he's got something. I guess he could just go for Psychic or Psyshock, try and do damage to this. Threaten with that, because Skull's not going to do anything. Thunderbolt's not going to do anything. So Psychic move might be doing a bit. Don't know if you want to train HP like that. But then again, the other nice advantage that Starmie has over Seismitoad is the fact that Starmie has Recover. And knowing that this is a defensive Seismitoad, it's not going to be bringing this thing under 50% anytime soon. So Starmie does have the advantage in this matchup, which actually means if he forces him out, that's Rocks on the side of Lunar Cresselia's to stay. And you know what? He goes for the spin. He actually gets the damage down instead. So now, what comes out of this? Getting damage on the Starmie is not going to matter if it is carrying Recover. The rocks are omnipresent. He needs to get rid of them, which is going to be that Excadrill. But the problem is, you know what? I see more Pokemon now that are going to threaten that Excadrill. So if these rocks stay and they're set up right away, this is a good advantage to Versity Thundurus early. Good adaptation, good sight of just seeing that, hey, chip damage means I win. So the more the merrier, especially seeing how much crits we're doing and how much damage was doing from stock. Doesn't need to sweep if there's just a bunch of damage on everything. So, hey, why the hell not? Cresselia's taking their time here trying to think of their final moves. This is their game to win. They need to do it. They need the 3 points. If they get the 3 points, they're shooting past a bunch of players today. Tyler Poke will surge. There's a lot of people who are at the bottom will remain at the bottom until they can fight for more points. It's going to be kind of difficult, though, because with 3 buys a week, 2 to 3 buys a week, points are going to be very skewed, but we can't help that, so. Going down to 2.5 minutes here in the pool for the Lunar Cresselias. I mean, you do have to worry that there could be a prediction here. You don't want to take too much damage on anything that's not going to be healing itself. So I'm not necessarily... Not the worst to be said is something like Shaman? It'll take, like, it's tough, right? It's a difficult decision to make because you don't want to get predicted here. And yeah, he gets predicted. Ice Beam is safe. Gets the crit to boot. Why is this Shaman just getting crit nonstop? This is the unlucky Chia Pet. And I was thinking, like, I wonder if Ice Beam is just going to fly out here because it gets value on the Seismitoad and it gets value on the Shaman if it is the answer to come in. And lo and behold, there it is. And the worst part about this is, well, even if he had taken psychic damage, the Starmie's still moving faster. So, you know, what is the Shaman switch? Are we, you know, I don't know. This has been the story for Lunar Cresselias the past couple of weeks where we're going, the moves and the switch-ins don't match what we would expect. But it could also be a panic of, well, maybe he goes standard, maybe he's just losing Mind Games nonstop. It's quite possible. Mind Games in Pokemon are actually a very advanced skill, even if Pokemon itself is not an advanced game. But part of the mind games in Pokemon is because the game is fairly straightforward, getting that advantage, knowing when you're behind, knowing when the Pokemon are stronger against you, it's the way it's going to be. So, loses that mind game, another Shadow game gone to Sharking. And honestly, just because the rocks are set up and because Starmie's gotten the kill on the Shaman, Versity Thundurus are way ahead, right? That's one less Pokemon to take out a lot of pokes just with Seed Flare alone. There's a lot less switching. Like, every Pokemon that drops against Hyper Aggressive just looks better because you know what Pokemon's going to finish it off. That's not a Liquidation Soak Up anymore. And again, you have no rocks against you, so when you can make switches as a hyper-aggressive team with no rocks against you, and then you come into this and you're like, well, my other team's just going to be taking a bunch of chip damage. Sure, why not? But hey, you know what I have this time? Not a burned Aggron, a paralyzed Aggron, and hey, you know what? That's what you want to see, because now Seismitoad can't get the cheesy burn on it. Gonna be feeling good about that one. Earthquake coming out knowing that he doesn't need to go for Heavy Slam. Just get the damage down. The plays are pretty straightforward. Sharking is reading Tyler Poke like a book right now. And this is, again, best of ones. That would have been a 2-0 overall in the record between Tyler Poke and Sharking playing each other. But in this case, Sharking being able to see what's happening and knowing that he could expect the Choice Scarf. This is when adaptation, this is when you see Cheese gets you that point here and there. But will it get you all the points to get into top 6? The answer is not always, unless you're Ivan, who's a master at it. Here we go. Recover's most likely coming out as Seismitoad's slowly getting chipped away. I have no voice. I'm sorry. Thank God we're down to 3 battles. Because I don't know if I can do 5 battles anymore. My throat's just not lasting. Excuse me. Yeah, Recover comes out. That's a pretty straightforward thing that's going to happen. But the rocks do come in. But, again, Starmie wins this 1v1. So, what happens? He could just go for rock. Like, here's the thing. You get all this done, but Starmie is the perfect answer to Seismitoad's moveset. Tanks the hits, it goes to Recover. has natural cure for the toxic, has spin for the rocks. So really, it's like the perfect choice against the likes of Lunar Cresselia's Seismitoad. As the Alolan Ninetales finds its way in now, could be carrying Freeze Dry, but it doesn't matter. Even Blizzard would take Seismitoad out from this range, as the rocks do come out. But hey, what feels better than going for Aurora Veil? Again, Gamma not feeling too great in chat, and then Volcarona comes in and sweeps, or any Pokemon comes in, feels super safe, starts doing a bunch of damage to everything. That Toxic misses, but I don't think that mattered much, as TC Thundurus are getting everything they want. Blizzard not taking it out, but the Hail will, as yeah, get the chip damage. Seismitoad is down, the screens are up, and TC Thundurus are looking poised to take game number 2 here, to go 1-1 on the week. But you never know. Stranger things have happened in the ProPokeBowl. So what's the answer now? What does he bring in? Excadrill try and threaten with Iron Head. He's got to worry about taking a bunch of damage, and plus he's got a spin too, so he's kind of in this tough situation. If he had a Defogger, this is where Defog would feel really good, because he could blow away their screens and their rocks, and it would feel better. But we do know the likes of... what's it called? We do know the likes of Lunar Cresselia's team is nothing but spinners, and really, you know, he doesn't want to lose that chip damage with the Stealth Rock. I don't know, I was stumbling over that, but Kabutops will now come in. Same old, same old. Weak Armor gets proc plus 2 speed, or times 2 speed. A Pokemon will have to come and try and answer this, but now you're having some problems, because with that double speed, yeah, it's not looking too pretty. And the great thing about Weak Armor behind the screens, even if he had predicted this and gone for Earthquake, he was not going to die. And I think with double speed, this Kabutops is going to outspeed the Scarf Cow, and Swords Dance revealed. Oh my god! Plus 4 speed, plus 2 attack. Liquidation Cow turned into milk on the spot, liquefied. That's not looking good for the likes of Lunar Cresselia's, and I'm about to say that's game, because Liquidation does not miss, and bless that plus 5 base power. Gone, destroyed. Cresselia's walking away with the puddle, which is not the tears from the losses. It is his Pokemon that are going to get turned to mush as TC Thundurus find their way in, find that setup, and the unlikely hero in Kabutops making it happen. GG to Traverse City Thundurus. That's a nasty combination with Weak Armor as the Z move is fired off. Continental Crush will take it down, and that's going to be the even match for both of them on the week. Well played by both players. Where am I going here? Bam. And that's what you needed to see. That's Shark King's in. Finds the sweep and goes for it. And hey, did you see Kabutops doing it? I didn't see Kabutops doing it. Should I have? Yeah, probably. But it's easy when you're behind those screens and you're not punished for it. Like, you can't be punished for it because, again, you see there's no Defogger. So when there's no Defogger and the Aurora Veil stays alive, you don't have any way to break through it, and that's going to be the death of him, right? It's what he's looking for. He doesn't get it done. So what more can you say? What more can you hope for? But that's Traverse City Thundurus keeping themselves afloat. And after we input the points, let's take a look at what the end of week 4 looks like for our coaches. Again, keep in mind, it's going to be kind of all off center, so we're just going to look at the number of points that the coaches do have, because with all these buys, it does make the points look a little bizarre, but hey, what can you do about that? At the end of week 4, we have Manchester Manectric sitting at the top with 15 points, but that has to be answered next week to see what happens with the rest of the matchups, as Fortnite Ninjas, Traverse City Thundurus, and I Am Groot all sit with 12 and 11 points. Respectively, Lunar Cresselia's with that point will put themselves slightly above the Golden State Greninjas, but the Golden State Greninjas with that 2-0 today surge with 9 points. Ice Cold, Todd Skyrim, Howard, and Las Vegas Golden Lucarios need to start grabbing their points to break away and try and start taking that 6th, 5th, or even 4th seed. At this point, can they take the top 2? Potentially, but it's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be a lot of factors that I don't think are necessarily going to happen with our top players in the tournament. But stranger things have happened, ladies and gentlemen. Looking towards week 5, the battles that are going to be happening. You might not be able to see them on your screen, but let's see if I can make it work. Yeah, you can't see it on your screen. Boop. Right there. There we go. Close enough. Traverse City Thunder is up against Todd Skyrim Howard. No rest for the wicked when it comes to Shark Kings battles. The Las Vegas Golden Lucario is up against I Am Groot. And our third match, Ice Cold versus the Golden State Greninjas. Can Anish end the streak of World Leader looking phenomenal? Can Koma trounce the top 2 in the tournament? And can Traverse City Thunderous try and grab that 2-0 where Soto Dude is going to be trying so freaking hard to take that away from him? Tune in next week, ladies and gentlemen. Week 5 does happen August 21st, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you to everybody for participating in the audience, for participating in the battles. Let's shout out everybody who did subscribe or support the content anyway beyond just being here. But you being here is the greatest thing we can ask for. It's the only reason why this tournament stays alive. Zeno, thank you very much for the host. Gamma, thank you very much for resubscribing, Sharking. Embrace the face for all of these new subs as he returns with 5 months. Suwako with the sub, 13 months. And Amma with the host. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming out. We will see. Oh, and X-Link! I don't know why yours didn't show up, but thank you very much for that 4-month resubscription. You owe me a name or trainer class. And Tim, thank you very much for that host at the end, for some reason. But nonetheless, we'll be back next Wednesday for the ProPokeBowl action, but this Friday will be our next stream, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you then. You've been watching the ProPokeBowl Season 5, Week 4. Till next week. Peace.